Today on WBLN, the Archdiocese of Miami needs your help for hurricane relief. We take a close look at Belen's peer ministry class, and with over 1,000 potential applications for admissions this year, we dive into the process. It's spooky season again. Enzo Valdez visits Horror Nights. All this and more for today, October 4th, 2024.
What's up, Wolverines? I'm Julian Albert.
And I'm Gianfranco Ciura.
And welcome to today's episode of WBLN. In the aftermath of Hurricane Helen, the Belen community is doing its part in helping the relief effort by supporting the Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Miami through donations. The Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Miami is already mobilized and serving the hardest hit areas of North Florida and throughout the Southeast. But they desperately need the support of our Catholic community. You can make monetary donations directly to Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Miami, incorporated at www.ccadm.org. This comes as a long process and recovery and rebuilding from the powerful storm that made landfall last week and left a trail of destruction from the Florida Panhandle all the way up to western North Carolina.
Switching gears to Belen news, our faith is a major part of our identity. Peer ministers are the leaders of the spiritual life of our student body. Julian Albert got a little insight on what peer ministry is like here at Belen.
The power of faith, friendship, and service are all important factors of following the word of Christ. Peer ministry is all about young students guiding and supporting one another on their spiritual journeys, creating a compassionate community grounded in shared values. I had the privilege to interview Mr. Pernia, who is the Assistant Dean of Mission Information here at Belen.
Is to deepen your own faith, because in serving others, in helping out in peer ministry, it helps you grow also in your own faith. You grow in your own formation through the class and through your experiences leading others. Ministering to your peers, to those close to your age, a little bit younger than you, kind of showing them the example of what it means to live out your faith on a daily basis.
Peer ministers have the ability to reach those who our priests or teachers can't necessarily reach. The jobs peer ministers have to uphold are to lead others to Christ within their community.
They are actively trying to make Jesus the center of their lives. They're taking steps towards it. They've also taken kind of this added initiative on themselves to try to lead others to Christ. But ultimately, the peer ministers are the ones who are going out into their sports teams, their classrooms, their extracurriculars, and being able to reach those guys that maybe we couldn't completely reach ourselves. And then also faithfulness, which ties into how to be an example to others. Personally living it out, essentially walking the walk and talking the talk that you're inviting others into. So praying daily, having a frequent sacramental life.
I'm Julian Albert, reporting for WBLN.
There's many steps for the admission process here at Belen. From Father Willie to Mr. De Quesada, everything goes through them. Here, TJ Frangi tells us a little more about the process.
Everyone has their own definition of a student at Belen. Whether it be an athlete or a mentor for others, the list goes on. Here's Belen's president, Father Willie Garcia Tuñon, with his definition of a Belen student.
Well, what it means to be a Belen student, I could say this as an alumnus and then tell you how that even feeds my understanding of being a Belen student now that I'm the president of the school. There's always a striving for, excellence at various levels, not just simply the academic. That there's a desire to be able to, there's a thirst for knowledge and understanding that also drives you, and not simply using that knowledge or that understanding for purposes of getting ahead, but also, enriching your life. And then, of course, there's this understanding that you have an obligation to do good in the world, that you have a responsibility and an obligation to serve, others. So that our motto of Meant for Others is just essential. I mean, you have to really model your life after our motto of being a man for others. And, that's what it encompasses. A man of faith also, who has a commitment to their faith and is continuously working and struggling to better their commitment as a man of faith. So I think it's a clear understanding that we're like always a work in progress, and that we want to move towards that continuously. And of course, that there's a commitment and a passion for your school, your alma mater, your brothers that belong to that same class or to the school as well. I think those are all the things that I expect of a Belen student or even as an alumnus afterwards.
Each year, hundreds of families apply their sons into Belen. This can become extremely competitive. The Director of Student Admissions, Mr. Thomas de Quesada, walks us through the admissions process and what he looks for in his applicants.
There are several parts to the process. We begin with the application, and that was open as of Thursday, August 22nd. So we've seen a lot of excitement as part of that. And then we're inviting families in for conversations or interviews, whichever you prefer. We have a great talk with the kids. We meet their parents, learn about their families and their commitment to Jesuit education, Catholic education. So that's an important part of the process. We ask them to send their grades to us from 4th grade and also the first half of 5th grade. And then of course there's the exam that takes place the first Saturday in December for the 6th graders, or the rising 6th graders, and the second Saturday in December for the 9th grade applicants. Look at our applicants. We're looking for families that are committed to Catholic Jesuit education. We're looking for young men that are excited to take advantage of everything Belen has to offer from an athletic, extracurricular, and mostly an academic standpoint. And we're looking for families who are committed to being involved here at Belen, leaving their mark here at the school, and taking part in different events and being present for the tombola and the athletic events, and again, everything we have to offer.
Belen's admissions team is always hard at work, making our school feel like a secondary home for aspiring students, and they do a great job at doing so. They even have all their details and events up on the belenjesuit.org website, accessible for anyone to see. Reporting for WBLN News, I am TJ Frangie.
As October begins, Halloween festivals ramp up. Enzo Valdez traveled to Orlando to check out this year's Halloween Horror Nights.
I'm here at Universal Studios Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights to give you guys an insight at what's new this year.
Universal's Halloween Horror Nights is an annual event in both the Orlando and Hollywood parks. It began in 1991 and consisted of 3 days, but now it's become one of the most popular Halloween experiences in the country, lasting over 9 weeks and containing haunted houses and scare zones based on classic movies and shows.
I've always thought it to be a good time to spend with the family. The jump scares and the scares that you get to the different houses are a lot of fun. They do a good job with emulating some of the different popular pop culture movies that are going on at the time and stuff.
This year, Horror Nights had 4 houses based on intellectual properties: Insidious the Further, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, A Quiet Place, and Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines.
I remember one particular house that was probably one of my favorites of all time, was from the movie called Us, where a family was cloned, and that was probably one of the better houses that I went through. They did a good job in recreating that story and doing the scares.
Besides houses based on your favorite IPs, Horror Nights also has its fair share of original houses, this year's being Major Sweet's Candy Factory, Slaughter Cinema 2, Goblin's Feast, Monstruos, the Monsters of Latin America, the Museum Deadly Exhibits, and Triplets of Terror. If you want to be part of this year's Halloween fun, be sure to book your trip soon. For WBLN, I'm Enzo Valdez.
Hey guys, it's Miguel Garrido, and here's the weather for today. Today we will see a rain chance that varies from 0 to 5%, with a high at 91 and a low at 75. Later throughout the week, rain chances will vary from 5 to 50%, with a couple of rain clouds. Throughout the weekend, temperatures will vary from a high at 87 and a low at 77. There's your weather for today. Stay golden, Wolverines.
What's up, Wolverines? I'm Rocco Branger, and here are the sports for today. Tonight, our Wolverine varsity football team takes on the Southwest Eagles here at De La Cruz Stadium for senior night. Pack the house. On to the pros. The Mets and Brewers faced off last night in a winner-take-all wild card game. The Mets were down 2-0 in the top of the ninth. Then Pete Alonso hit it deep to right for a 3-run home run off Devin Williams to give the Mets the lead and send them to the divisional series where they take on the Phillies. In the NFL last night, the Atlanta Falcons came up with a late win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in overtime. The final score was 36-30. Kirk Cousins rallied the offense with a late game-winning touchdown to Kadero Hodges. Buffalo Bills linebacker Von Miller has been suspended for 4 games without pay for violating the National Football League's personal conduct policy. He is set to return for Bills vs. Seahawks in 5 weeks. The league's Tuesday announcement did not elaborate on the reason for Miller's suspension, but it comes after an alleged domestic dispute in Dallas, Texas last year. According to an arrest warrant, Miller was accused of assaulting his pregnant girlfriend. The alleged victim told police Miller shoved her and put his hands around her neck during an argument. According to the report, the woman had minor bruises on her hands, neck, abdomen, and arms. Miller turned himself in and was later released on bond. The 2-time Super Bowl champion has denied the allegations. His girlfriend later walked back her statements and called the incident a, quote, huge misunderstanding. That's all your sports for today. Back to the guys at the desk.
Thank you, Rocco. And that's all the news for today. Make sure to follow us on all social media.
Make sure to stay safe and stay golden, Wolverines.